Hey guys, Jordan here with Sling It Lacrosse. Today we've got a package from our friends over at Maverik. Looks like it's the new Kinetik 2.0 and the K2 string up. Let's see what's inside. All right, there it is, our boy Zed Williams. Let's see what we've got. We've got a Kinetik 1, Kinetik 2, and a string kit. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the heads. We'll take a little preview, show you some of the features that we're excited about, and then you guys can follow along as we string up our entry for Sling It Lacrosse into the Maverik Kinetik K2 string off. So let's get started. Right off the bat, if we look at these heads next to each other, you can see that they didn't stray too far away from the original Kinetik as far as the overall shape and design of the head. You know, a few visible improvements that you can see, or just really some changes and adjustments. You know, overall right away, heads feel pretty similar in weight. However, I do notice a little bit more stiffness in this guy. The other thing that I noticed right away, which should be a good improvement, is they've redesigned the scoop, which follows trends with a lot of their 2.0 heads that have been released in the last year or two, Optic 2.0, etc. So really looking forward to the improved scoop here. I do like that they didn't really mess with the shape overall. This head tended to have a tall, narrow profile with a quick flare at the top. So it always lended itself well to kind of that mid or mid-high pocket. Something where you can keep the ball in that pinched part of the stick, yet have it higher up for that quicker release and really just more feel on the ball. The other thing that I like about this head is they've cleaned up the aesthetic a little bit. There's just some smoother lines throughout it. You know, one thing in particular that I think is very noticeable is you can see where the XRAIL and tension lock kind of came together. On the old head, you had a few lines here which broke up the aesthetic. This one you have a nice clean kind of transition from the top of the head. That's the same on the back here. If we look at the you know, the transition to the tension lock on the back of the head here, you'll see that we've got a much smoother kind of transition here. Won't make a huge difference functionally. It'll just kind of result in a slightly smoother string up. And yeah, but otherwise not take away from the other aesthetic. The other good improvement, which I don't know why this hasn't become a standard on every head, but two holes in the back here, which should hopefully allow for a little bit better secure. Maybe you don't have to, you can, you know, the other thing that happens is you have a bunch of holes that are close together, so this gives you an option to drill a new hole in the shaft if it's already got a few in there. So looks good. All right, let's get into the stringing. They sent over a piece of mesh. I'm not sure what the mesh is, but it feels pretty, you know, kind of a pretty similar to a lot of other popular meshes on here, pretty thin, light. It's a typical 10 diamond hexagonal design. So we have kind of a practical approach to how we string sticks. So nothing too fancy, but we'll get into the stringing here and I'll talk in a little bit more detail about it. All right, guys, initial run through here of the Kinetik 2. Got it all strung up with the mesh Maverik provided. Again, not sure what the brand is. Pretty large holes though, so my typical pattern for the Kinetik came out a little deeper than I would normally do. We'll probably, before we send one off to Zed, redo one with one of our favorite meshes, probably some Hero 3.0 or something like that. But generally still get a sense of how it strings up here, and the process went smoothly. We've strung a lot of Kinetiks. And so I have a pretty kind of firm understanding of the tension points on this head and how to lay things out. We do a couple things unique. We've started to tuck the fold over even deeper. This is just a stringing technique here, just to limit the amount of material up near the scoop. With how we string our top strings, we're not worried about anything tearing through or anything. So the holes are spaced pretty well. Was able to get a pretty evenly balanced top string there. Getting into the sidewall here, you know, trying to take advantage of the tension lock. So you can see we started here in the third hole. We've got a pretty tough pull down here on this first diamond, and it's at that the fifth hole here, just to kind of make sure these corners stay nice and tight. From there, I moved into a couple knotted special interlocks. I like these knots for some heads in that it helps kind of pull that mesh down, but yet leaves the channel wide enough so the ball's not getting caught in there as you throw. I prefer, you know, they have their purpose, and so I use those two right there and kind of finishing the channel. Then you can see go into just some basic one floats here. You know, they under a little tension up here, and they gradually start to get looser as we move to the pocket. Every diamond locked down between two different knots so that it has a little bit of shift, but not too much to change the release as it comes out. So you can see they start a little close together and then get spaced out as we go. Our bottom string, nothing super fancy. Kept it pretty simple here. Can manage the tension of it pretty easily. It's self-centering once you kind of get the pocket broke in. So all in all, came together nicely. Yeah, so I would say Maverik in particular has done a good job at maintaining the stringability and features of this head, yet, you know, making these subtle improvements, like I said, in the stiffness, the smooth lines, the cleaning up things going down the sidewall, the improved scoop, the string holes, etc. So if you were a fan of the Kinetik before, you'll definitely be a fan of the Kinetik 2.0. So yeah, look to get yours soon. Thanks, guys.